Hello YouTube and welcome to my fishing channel. My name is Cody Patterson. I'm from Northeast Arkansas and got to looking around on YouTube and seeing a few other YouTube channels that do largemouth bass fishing, and that's pretty much what I do all through the spring and summer. Kind of is just a hobby thing on the weekends. I have a full-time job here where I live, and just go fishing for some recreation on the weekends. And I really like the watching the YouTube channels, and it got me to thinking I really wanted to make a YouTube channel that would kind of document my fishing experiences, and not even necessarily to make a YouTube channel trying to get a bunch of subscribers or making that my job, or making any money off of it or whatever. I just basically want to do it for fun and hopefully get some really cool video. Be really neat, I think, to be able to look back 10 years later. Like some of these guys have been around since YouTube basically started with their channel, and I think it'd be really neat to be able to look back one of these days and be able to see all of your experiences, and when you finally do catch that 8, 9, 10 pound bass, you can have it on video, because I've had several large catches up to this point, and I would give anything to even have a picture of them. I don't even have a picture, because at that time, I didn't carry smartphones, and who carries it on their boat? But anyway, I'm just gonna kind of do a little trial video here. I'm still learning the whole video editing game and all that. So basically, this is just gonna be a little video for me to kind of get my feet wet doing some video editing. I've done a little bit before. I've had another YouTube channel that I did that was go-kart racing, actually. I know, random, but I did that for a couple years. But they were very basic, looked like a PowerPoint presentation, and I wanted to get more into a little bit of the cinematic effects, and maybe, I don't know, maybe get a drone if I get into it enough, and do some good B-roll footage, and I don't know, see where it takes me. But anyway, I'm just going to do a little video kind of going through my tackle and going through what my setup currently is. It's nothing particularly special, but yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it here. I'm probably going to start down on this end with the rods and reels. Everything you're going to see up on this table, yes, it's on my pool table, and we use this pool table for any kind of big organizing projects or anything that we do, just because it's very handy. But nothing you're going to see that I use is going to be top of the line or expensive. Mostly everything I use, a lot of my stuff comes from the clearance rack at Walmart, and I've found that I can catch just as many fish on a $2 crankbait as I can a lot of times on a $14 crankbait. Yes, I understand, with anything, you pay what you get for, but what I have found is that a lot of times, if you're picky about what you choose, going budget on your fishing lures and even on your bait casting combos is not always a bad thing. For these two, I'm using the Mark Reese edition reels. They're made by Lew's. This one so happens to still be the Mark Rose signature series stick. I like it. It's a medium heavy 6.6. I use it for my top water stuff. Mostly around here, we really like to throw buzz baits. And two, with this, with starting this YouTube channel, I'm trying to, branch out in what I use, because up to this point, I have been I'll have tie on a buzz bait, I'll tie on a tube bait, and maybe a crankbait, and that's literally what I'll use all day. And that's just not good. There's so many more opportunities there to catch fish, rather than just throwing the same 3 baits over and over again. But either way, this is a 6.6 medium heavy, and like I said, I usually use this for top water with some I think it's 16-pound Stren monofilament. Like I said, again, the cheap stuff, I just always like Stren and use Stren. For the second rod, same reel. It's actually just a Shakespeare excursion rod. I usually throw a crankbait or something like a spinnerbait, something like that on this. Same 16-pound Stren monofilament line. Again, I don't even know where the rod came from, to tell you the truth. I think it's a little bit longer. That's actually a 7-foot. I like having a little bit longer rod with a little bit little bit looser end on it to be able to throw those crankbaits and stuff. As far as the other two combos, this is the cheapest of the cheap combo you can get at Walmart. I usually use it to throw something like a Senko or Shaky Head, Ned Rig, something like that. I do use a 30-pound braid on this reel, and again, this is actually a new reel that I'm trying, and I really like it so far. It's called the Pissafun Torrent, and yes, I don't like the name. It does have the word piss in it. There it is. I imagine it's probably an overseas company. They probably didn't know what they were naming it when they started out. But you can find them on Facebook. So far, I'm very impressed. This was a $32 reel. They were running a special on it the other day. And I've been very, very impressed. And it's actually on about a probably 10-year-old Shakespeare Ugly Stick. And it's super, super stiff. I think it's like a, really, really heavy rod. But I always like to have a tube bait tied on. I don't know why, but usually anytime I find any kind of moving water or anything like that, it seems to do really good around moving water. But lastly, something I don't throw probably nearly as much as I should, I've just got a cheapo spin cast set up. That way I can throw like a wacky rig, something like that. None of my reels will really throw anything super light, so if I do need to throw something light or want to throw something light, I can. And like I said, I don't use that much. So there you go. Like I said, nothing very expensive, all very budget friendly, and like I said, there's not one combo sitting there that's over $100 combo. As far as the tackle bag, it's actually a pretty cool little story. I was using one of these camo jobs here, and was actually telling my wife, I was like, man, I've got this bag, I've got 2 loose plastic containers full of crankbaits that I kick around the boat and everything. Then I've got this backpack that I had a bunch of stuff in. Like I was looking at tackle boxes, but nothing was really big enough. I was gonna have to carry 5 or 6 tackle boxes, and I only fish out of a boat, really. Every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, I'll get on the bank and fish, but for the most part I fish right here out of this bag. And I'll just open her up here. She actually found this bag at a yard sale for $1. And if I didn't know better, I mean, obviously this is just a duffel bag. If I didn't know better, I would say this was a tackle box. And it just so happened that it perfectly fit out everything that I had. If I would have had one more box, it would have been no bueno. I got my soft plastics down there, some swim jigs, some just basic worms, nothing too fancy as far as the plastics department. Again, I've never really fished plastics up to this point, and I really want to learn how to start doing that, and I just haven't up to this point. Mostly just been watching other YouTube channels. I watch the Guggen Squad and a lot of those guys, and I've been learning a ton about fishing. They fish a lot of lakes down in Texas, and so that's really helped me because here in Arkansas we have a lot of the exact same type of fishing. Over here I have creature baits, things like that. I have brought some of those Rage Tail creature baits, some of the crawdads, and usually I use those on that rod that had that Senko on it a while ago, the cheaper rod, but it's still actually for I think I paid $50 for this whole combo, and for a $50 combo, the thing actually does fantastic for what I use it for. But either way, yeah, in that, and then over here on the side, I just have some extra monofilament in case I do fuzz a couple reels in one go. It has happened on the boat, and I've really been wishing that I would have had a little extra monofilament. So I've got that. As far as baits, I've got a pretty basic selection. In here is mostly just sinkers, worm hooks, some different kind of crazy looking worm hooks, some smaller worm hooks. I actually use these to wacky rig with, and they work really well. They've actually got the little screw head on top of them, but it's got just a little bit of extra weight. I don't know how good that's coming through on the GoPro, but it's got just a little bit of extra weight to it, and so it's a little easier to throw. And then some big hooks, and then some straight worm hooks. And again, all this is very basic. 2 or 3 just crankbait boxes. Like I said, and I've got them sorted by color, some whites and oranges, and then I believe this one is, yeah, the more chartreuse and lighter color crankbaits. And then the third crankbait box here is the chartreuse greens, the more natural, and the silvers are all in there, and as well as frogs. A couple big frogs. Again, something I don't throw very often, but I want to start learning how to, is these is frogs, because I hear about them all the time, but mostly I just throw buzz baits. And so, ready to branch out, ready to learn to throw something else and keep catching fish. Alright, just quickly run through the rest of it. Just a thing of assorted worms that if the packages have fallen apart, and so I put them into an extra box I had. Those 2 boxes are empty. And if you couldn't tell, me and my family like to fish tube baits. I've got different colors. Got to have the tungsten bullet sinkers, as well as there is a single tube bait hook that I like to throw. And I can tell you now, if you ever throw tube baits, this is the only hook to get. And you can thank me later. And what makes this special, again, I don't know how good that's coming through on the camera there. There's a little clip right at the top. And how you rig this up is, you rig it just like you're going to do a normal Texas rig. You stab right through the top. And then when you get to the top, you actually pull this back into the tube, and you can clip that little clip, and that keeps the bait from sliding anywhere. And then up, and then bury your hook, hide your hook so it's completely weedless. And that is the best hook in the world. Nobody else makes one like it, and they're kind of rare to find. Walmart used to carry them. Walmart quit carrying them, so now I have to pay $10 a package for them at a local angling shop, and it's a big pain in the butt. My wife doesn't like it, but it is what it is, because basically I have to have them for the style I like to fish. Just one more thing on those. I don't want to get too carried away on those, but I'm going to sacrifice one of these tubes because I never use this color. After a fish hits these 5 or 6 times, you know, like tears your tube apart, whatever, I want to show you guys something. This is why we like these hooks so much. Literally, let's say I'm bank fishing, and I have done this before. I have been down to this much tube. You get on a nice juicy spot and you don't want to get off of it. You can literally take any bait, and as long as you can get that little spring buried back on there, just like that, I'm telling you, you can literally sit there and keep rigging the same bait over and over and over again with these hooks. I don't know why people don't make these hooks. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that goes. That's everything in the bag. Like I said, I don't have actually a whole lot of stuff. Crap. I tried to end the video and I forgot the most important box. Of course, the hanging bait box. Got all the different buzz baits over there. More buzz baits. And spinner baits, which I don't use a whole lot, but every once in a while I'll switch to them on a really windy day or something. And then something that's entirely new to me, a few bass jigs, which again I've never really used before, but I'm going to try to use some this year. Got a couple black and blues out of there. I actually signed up for the mystery tackle box, and that's where I got one of those. Was from there. Oh well, that'd be alright. But yeah, actually kind of a cool little bait here. My favorite bait in the world to throw. And you're going to think this is nuts. But I'm a buzzbait lover, but especially these right here. My uncle actually makes these. And he pours his own lead and actually cuts the blades out by hand. But it is definitely the biggest bladed buzzbait you will probably ever see, and just the action on these, I catch more fish on these than I do any other buzzbait. And you know, good size fish. I notice if I'm having a good day fishing, but they all seem to be really dinky, I can kind of switch to one of these sometimes and really weed out some of those some of those smaller fish, like I said, and it pulls so much slower in the water. It really surprises me that more companies haven't switched to a bigger blade like that. But yeah. Anyway, that is definitely the favorite box there. That's what I fish out of more than anything. That's just about it. Thank you guys for watching this. I know this was kind of a boring video. Again, this was more for myself than anything. Just kind of going through my own tackle and stuff, and maybe I can look back one day. And but I will have some fishing videos coming down the line. So if you guys would like to see those, said some of the places we fish some beautiful kind of backwater creeks around here off the river. Live literally 5 minutes away from the White River, so I have a couple creeks there that I fish, and then I have a couple creeks, not creeks, but lakes rather. I have a couple lakes that are a little ways away from here that we really like to go fish, and again, just some really pretty water and some really, really big fish I know at these lakes. And what's cool around here is in northeast Arkansas, the fish aren't just super heavy pressured at a lot of places around here like they are in some more populated areas of the state. You know, of course, just like anywhere, you have some lakes around here that just get hammered all the time. And, you know, it's much tougher to catch a fish out there, but we have our secret little spots, I guess, like anybody does, that are more out of the way and off the beaten path, and we can really get in there and have some good days fishing. So definitely subscribe and stay tuned, and hopefully I'll have some good videos for you guys. See you guys later.